Hi, hi, Douglas Peacock here. Welcome to today's live. Been a couple of weeks away, mucking around. But what I want to look at today is the energy of what are you tolerating? What are you putting up with? What do you allow yourself to get away with? And one of the ways that I look at it is it's like having a bag of fruit that you go and buy from the supermarket or the veggie place, and there's a rotten apple in your bag of apples. Now, if we know that rotten apple is in there and we leave it there, all the rest will turn. Now, when we do this and when we look at this in our life, because it's not just a bag of apples, and it's not just an apple that makes other apples go off. It can be, you can look at your work colleagues. There can be a bad apple there. It's like you watch the movies and there's a mole there and someone's letting out information. And you ask yourself the question, geez, where am I tolerating this kind of behavior? Where am I tolerating this kind of mole behavior or rotten apple behavior inside of my thought concepts? And where am I tolerating certain behaviors in my relationships? Where do I allow myself to be treated a certain way? And it's not them, don't get me wrong, it's not always them. We allow ourselves to be tolerated a certain way, because we don't believe that we are loved. We don't believe that we deserve that much more. And it's like we tell ourselves the liar when we go to maybe eating food. Oh, this bar of chocolate won't matter that much. I'm on a diet, but hey, it won't matter that much. And we tolerate that behavior from us. Now, the first step that we've got to do, and what we've got to recognize with this, is we look in our lives. If you've got an area of your life where you're tolerating something and it's not for your highest good, or you keep getting conflict, no matter what the story is that they are spinning to you, because we all have perceptions and we all spin these stories to try and make our belief right. The question that you've got to come back to, if it doesn't feel right and you're not getting the results you want, you've got to ask yourself the question, what's the truth? Now, when we stop and ask ourselves the question, what's the truth? We are able then to be able to quieten and let the dialogue of all the noise and the perceptions and all the bullshit just wash past us, and we can actually begin to start seeing what's going on. When we do this through our awareness, we will notice that the truth will be either stillness or peace, or it will just be a nice light, just a bright light. And there'll be nothing to be said, nothing to be done, yet you will just know. And we know the old teaching that you either know or you don't know. Anything in between is just a perception or a belief. So when you have a knowingness, you do not need to defend why you are going down a certain pattern. And if there is someone that is trying to, in your circle, that is trying to hoodwink you, so to speak, or put you into listening to their lies or their perception of their way, trying to convince you to go and do their thing, like old Snow White eating that old apple that's got poison in it. When there's someone doing that, your life doing that for you, then the question you've got to ask yourself, well, I've got a choice. Do I choose to follow that non-truth, or do I choose to follow the truth? And at first, the path may seem hard to break that old behavior in your thinking and your emotions and your behaviors. But when you follow the truth, that old non-truth will just wither up and die. Yet it takes discipline. And the first thing that we got to be doing is be willing to recognize that we weren't living in truth. To be willing to recognize that we were tolerating a belief system or a perception that wasn't serving us. Or we got to allow ourselves to be willing to recognize that that person that we may like a lot is lying to us. And don't have our best interest in heart. And they may not even be aware that they're lying because they are so caught up in their stories or their lies that they don't know what the truth is anymore. And it's not until we come back and stop in our presence and go, hold on, what is the truth here? And they can be lying because all they've got is a wrong mindfulness and they perceive it to be a certain way. And that's okay. They will find their way out, but you've got to take responsibility for yourself and hold the space and be willing to know the truth for you. And when you know the truth, what happens is you start becoming more peaceful. You start stabilizing your energy field. You start stabilizing and being able to make decisions and to actually know what is the right action to take. But it takes practice. One of the things that happens here is people come up against it and they have this perception that they can't do something. And that's like a rotten apple. If you have a perception that you can't do something, you are telling yourself a lie. You are in non-truth. You have separated from wholeness. When you recognize that, you're able to change it and bring it back to a place of being willing to go, okay, I know I can do it. I may not know how at the moment, but I know it's possible. And in it being possible, you take the next step forward. And your resistances will come up, and that's basically just part of life. We have our resistances come up and we just dissolve them and just keep moving through. So one of the things I want you to look at in your life today, where are you allowing rotten apples to be in your bag of apples? Where are you allowing negative thoughts to be in your finances? Where you live in lack and scarcity? Where are you living in fear and doubt in your relationships? Where are you allowing yourself to be treated a certain way in your relationships because of the fear of actually allowing yourself to be loved fully? Whereabouts in your health are you holding yourself back, or are you living in dis-ease? You are tolerating a illness because you are unwilling to see the truth, to know the truth, that you have been lying to yourself, that you have created an environment in your physical body through the thoughts and emotions going on inside of you that you've been unwilling to recognize that are hurting you, and you allow this toxicity to live in your field. Whereabouts in your work are you tolerating being treated a certain way? Where are you not allowing yourself to sit in the energy of loving kindness and see only goodness everywhere? And when we look at this, and when we first start looking at this and are willing to make the changes, we can then change our future to create a life better than what it has been. And we actually become greater than who we thought we were. But it takes practice. And this is where, if you want help, give us a call, just send me a message. If you want to join our Conscious Awakening group, where I go into this deeper and we shift energy on a daily basis to help you become and clean out where the rotten apples are in your life, then click on the link below. My name's Douglas Peacock. I hope this helps a little bit, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Blessings.